This is your 30 seconds of trivia about Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. It was released in 1999 starring Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci. The town of Sleepy Hollow was built from scratch in 3 months for the film and dismantled afterwards. Michael Gough, who played Alfred in the Batman movies and the Celestial Toymaker in Doctor Who, came out of retirement to play Notary Hardenbrook. The film also has not one, but 3 Sith Lords: Ian McDiarmid, who played Emperor Palpatine, Christopher Lee, who played Count Dooku, and Ray Park, who played Darth Maul. Ray Park being one of 2 of the stuntmen to portray the Headless Horseman. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight. Released in 1995, it starred Billy Zane, William Sadler, and Jada Pinkett Smith, and was purposely released on Friday the 13th. William Sadler and Billy Zane both appeared in the Tales from the Crypt television show. CCH Pounder was wearing a fat suit to disguise her arm after it gets torn off by a demon. The scene where Billy Zane's character opens his mouth and produces a sponge was Billy Zane's idea. The entire set for the film was built in an abandoned aircraft hangar, giving them the freedom to film during the day in spite of the entire plot happening in one night. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for Critters. Released in 1986, it starred a number of notable actors including Billy Zane from Titanic, Dee Wallace from E.T., Scott Grimes from The Orville, and Ethan Phillips from Star Trek Voyager. The Critters were voiced by veteran voice actor Corey Burton, who has been in almost everything animated from Transformers the movie to Clone Wars. Charles Chiodo based the design of the Critters on the Looney Tunes character the Tasmanian Devil. This is the only movie in the Critters franchise where one grows to human size. Don Keith Opper and Terrence Mann, who play Charlie McFadden and Ugg, respectively, are the only actors to appear in all 4 Critters movies. The film takes place in Grover's Bend, which is a nod to Grover's Mill, New Jersey, from the War of the Worlds radio broadcast. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for John Carpenter's The Thing. Released in 1982, this sci-fi horror practical effects powerhouse starred Kurt Russell from The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, Keith David from Amphibia, and Wilford Brimley from The Diabetes Meme. The film was director John Carpenter's first work with a major studio. This scene was shot in a Universal Pictures parking lot. It was almost 90 degrees, and according to Kurt Russell, wearing the heavy winter costumes was excruciating. The Thing's screenplay was written by Bill Lancaster, whose only other writing credits were The Bad News Bears and its sequels. It took Kurt Russell a year to grow out his glorious hair and beard for the film. If you speak Norwegian, this jerk gives away the plot in the first few minutes. The burned Norwegian outpost is just the American outpost sets after they were burned for the film's climactic battle. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for The Blob. Released in 1958, it starred Steve McQueen from, well, The Blob was the weirdest thing he was in, so... The Towering Inferno. Yeah, that'll do. Despite reportedly disliking the film, the poster for The Blob was hanging in McQueen's bedroom at the time of his death in 1980. Originally to be titled The Glob, it had to be changed as cartoonist Walt Kelly had already used the title. The Blob is Neil deGrasse Tyson's favorite movie alien from a scientific perspective. Although McQueen plays a teen in the film, he was 28. The film has 5 on-screen deaths. Before becoming a victim himself, the doctor orders the Blob be treated with trichloroacetic acid, which is used to treat genital warts. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for A Nightmare on Elm Street. Released in 1984, it starred Robert Englund from V, Heather Langenkamp from Just the 10 of Us, and introduced Johnny Depp. Where do I know that name? Doesn't matter. Nightmare saved New Line Cinema from bankruptcy, so if not for Nightmare, we wouldn't have gotten Frodo. The boiler room footage was filmed in the Lincoln Heights Jail in Los Angeles, which was later condemned due to high levels of asbestos. You may be due to compensation. Call now. Freddy's makeup took 3 hours to apply. The words Elm Street are not said in the movie. At one point, to stay awake, Nancy is shown watching Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead. Heather Langenkamp has said her favorite scene is the bathtub scene. The film used over 500 gallons of fake blood. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for Poltergeist. Released in 1982, it starred Craig T. Nelson from The Incredibles and Heather O'Rourke, who would go on to star in Poltergeist 2 and 3. Sadly, in early 1988, at the age of 12, she passed away due to a congenital illness. Co-written by Steven Spielberg, the film was nominated for Oscars for both special effects and musical score, but lost out to E.T. the Extraterrestrial, which was directed by Spielberg. Despite being a horror film, no deaths happen on screen. The American Film Institute voted the line, "They're here," as 69 out of 100 top movie quotes. Nice. In the swimming pool scene, those skeletons, they're real. Actual human remains. Dead people. Because it was cheaper to use the real deal than to buy fake skeletons. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for Friday the 13th. Starring Betsy Palmer from The Last Angry Man and Kevin Bacon from the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, and with special effects by the legendary Tom Savini from Dawn of the Dead, it was released in 1980 and was the 18th highest grossing film of the year. It was inspired by the films Halloween and Meatballs. Weird. It was filmed at Camp No B Bosco, a Boy Scout camp in New Jersey. The working title for the script was Long Night at Camp Blood. Yeah, it's not as catchy. Sally Field was offered the role of Alice but turned it down. Kevin Bacon shaved his armpits for the bedroom scene. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for Scream. Released in 1996, it was directed by Wes Craven of Nightmare on Elm Street fame, and starred Courtney Cox from Misfits of Science, Matthew Lillard from Scooby-Doo, Neve Campbell from Party... You know what? A lot of people are in this, and we only have 30 seconds. It was originally titled Scary Movie, and was the 15th highest grossing film of 1996. Craven originally turned down directing the film, but several factors changed his mind, including a 10-year-old kid accusing him of going soft. Drew Barrymore insisted on shooting all of her scenes barefoot. There were several references throughout the film to the movie Halloween, such as Sidney's boyfriend having the last name Loomis. Sony Pictures sued the production, claiming the title infringed on their movie Screamers. During the opening sequence, due to a phone mix-up, Drew Barrymore really called 911. This is your 30 seconds of trivia for John Carpenter's Halloween. Released in 1978, it starred Jamie Lee Curtis from Freaky Friday and Donald Pleasance from Escape to Witch Mountain. Filmed over 20 days with a budget of $325,000, it went on to make $47 million at the box office. And that's in 1978 money. John Carpenter directed and co-wrote the movie and wrote the film score. He based Michael Myers on Yul Brynner's robot assassin from Westworld. The character of Dr. Loomis was offered to Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. The cast wore their own clothes as there was no budget for a costume department. The iconic Michael Myers mask was an altered Captain Kirk mask. Upon finding this out, William Shatner sued for royalties. They settled out of court and Shatner donated his settlement to charity.